important to note today. D Wood felt the need to be comfortable because he thinks it's going to get physical. And Bartholomew over here is doing his Louis Riddick impression with the, what do we think?
Imitation's the greatest sign of respect, baby. Just get up out the dark, Brady.
We are
Put the kids to sleep.
on, ready to go. Let's do it. Game of the century is coming up this weekend. Week 4, meanwhile, starts tonight. But the one everyone's got their eye on is Brady and Bill on Sunday. Hard to imagine we'll ever see a quarterback-coach duo quite like this one. The two were together 20 years from when Brady was drafted in the 6th round in 2000 through the 2019 season, and the success was unprecedented. 249 wins. That's the most in the Super Bowl era. In fact, the next best is 144. So they're more than 100 wins clear of the field. Of course, 6 of those were Super Bowl wins. They made 9 appearances together. Yesterday, Belichick talked about facing Brady and another of his former stars in Rob Gronkowski.
Certainly Rob and Tom have done a lot for this organization, a lot for me. And I appreciate everything they've done. I have a ton of respect for them. But, this Sunday, we're on opposite sides of the field. And, we're going to do all we can to not make them enjoy the night. I'm sure they'll do the same to us. Nothing Tom does surprises me. He's a great player. Works hard, takes care of himself. I mean, you talk about playing till 50. I mean, if anybody can do it, he probably can.
All right, so a little more introspective than we usually get, and I want to make sure everyone understands the history here. D. Wood, you played with Tom Brady and for Bill Belichick in New England. Louis Riddick, a generation ago, you played for Bill Belichick in Cleveland. And so I'll start with you, knowing them as you do. What does this game mean for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady?
Well, look, these are two of the very best at their profession in the history of the game, okay? Look, Bill's going to go down as maybe the greatest coach ever, regardless of level of competition that you're talking about. Tom is the greatest individual winner in a team sport that team sports has ever seen. And so to think that this is just another game after these guys having spent 20 years, come 3 plays away from winning 9 Super Bowls. Not just 6, but winning 9 Super Bowls. 3 plays away from winning 9 rings. To think that this is not, let's just say, personal to some degree, and that doesn't mean it has to be negative, but to think it's not personal to some degree to go to face off head-to-head, although Bill's not going to be on the football field, you're kidding yourself. And of course, neither one of them are going to outright say, it's personal. I want to prove that I can still continue to have success away from him. Neither one of them's going to say that. I mean, Tom's already had it. Bill had a bad year last year from a team standpoint. But of course, this game's going to mean a lot. Of course, they're going to want to prove that I can continue to succeed at a high level away from you. And we want to prove to everyone else that's watching that I was the one who was, maybe for all intents and purposes, more responsible for the success that we had while we were together. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. I think all of us would feel that way if we were in that same situation, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes this game so fascinating. That's why all of us will be tuned in from beginning to end, regardless of whatever the score is.
That's right, and we will all extrapolate some greater meaning from this game, whether that is reasonable or not, based upon was it really Bill or was it really Tom? Again, one as a teammate, one as a coach. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, I agree with a lot of what Louis was talking about. I think you'll hear a bunch of pleasantries all throughout the week because they got the utmost respect for each other. But make no mistake about it, behind the scenes, they're going to voice their emotion to everyone behind the scenes. There's been many a times where we had team meetings with Tom, and Bill would throw all the pleasantry, all the the bouquet of roses out to people, but when we were in meetings, he would let you know exactly what we're trying to do to our opponents. Bill's going to voice the same type of emotion, the same type of things that he wants to do to Tom Brady, and vice versa. Yeah. Tom Brady, listen, he's going to shout, he's going to respect Bill, but when Tom Brady when he gets off Route 1 up in Massachusetts and steps foot in Foxborough, man, that man's going to be electric up there. He's going to be ready to go out there and put it to his former boss and Bill Belichick.
No, we're going to have this game covered from a million different angles, but as a slightly more impartial observer of this part, how would you describe what you think is at stake for the two of them in what might be the only head-to-head meeting they ever have.
Right. Well, Brady, I think, wants to create the separation, right? Because he's already won up because he's won the title. But when you think about it as well, you've seen the kind of the chess pieces already been moved. Oh, well, you hear Bill saying, well, they're doing a lot of the same things that they did here in New England, which suggests that he has the Da Vinci Code, that he knows how to stop that and what Brady likes to do and what Brady struggles with. But also on the other side, you don't think Tom knows exactly what some of those checks mean and some of those defensive plays that have been around because that system has been around for a long time? Listen, this is the closest thing to what Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson was all about, right? You talk about dynasties. The difference is Phil Jackson continued and created another dynasty in L.A., and Michael Jordan retired. This Michael Jordan decided to go to Tampa and prove that it was more about him than it was about Bill Belichick. So listen, he's going to be looking over there, and listen, Mac and Cheese is sitting over there. He's going to give him the pleasure too. But I guarantee he walks by and he say, hey, White, hey, Joseph, go get him for me.
Yeah, I mean, poor Mac Jones might just be collateral damage in all of this. and the Phil Jackson analogy is an interesting one. What Bill Belichick doesn't have is Shaq and Kobe. If he had those two guys, then it might look a little bit different right now. So we'll see. Again, we have this game covered from a million different angles today, including those comments about the similarity of the offensive schemes. We will get to those. But next stop is Dallas. I want to take a look at the Cowboys season so far. Week 1, candidly, might have been as good a performance as they've had, even though they lost, falling to Tampa at the buzzer, 31-29. Dak Prescott threw for 403 yards, courageous performance. You remember all the rest of that. Then week 2, they're on the right side of a game-winning kick. Greg Zuerlein, the 56-yarder, to beat a really good Charger team on the road. They ran it between Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott for 180 yards. Then Monday night, they dominated their arch-rival Eagles, 41-21 with Dak throwing 3. Zeke Elliott scoring twice on the ground. The defense picking off Jalen Hurts twice, taking one of those back for a touchdown. And I've been looking forward all week, Louis, to getting your perspective on this, because obviously Monday Night Football, you had the game. And there have been a lot of people just asking this relative question. Just how good is this Dallas Cowboys team?
Yeah, Greeny, I think, we knew, if we take it in parts, we knew that offensively that this team was going to be strong, provided that they stayed healthy, because on the perimeter, just the bevy of playmakers that they have, starting with Amari and CD and Michael Gallup when he's healthy. Look, we knew that they have the ability to attack you in so many different ways. And we knew at the running back position that this team is just strong. Look, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are a great 1-2 punch. Zeke really reestablished the fact that I'm the lead dog here. I really am. Tony Pollard's a nice changeup, but I'm the lead dog. And you see how from a physical perspective, how they just beat up the Philadelphia Eagles front seven. I mean, they just took it to them all night long. So I think, even for myself, as good as I thought they would be, I think I underestimated them a little bit on the offensive side, in particular on the offensive line, which is really where they set the tone for that game Monday night. I mean, I'm telling you, it was something to behold. And Philadelphia never was able to catch their breath. They were never able to regroup and kind of figure out exactly what was happening, because really, there was nothing to figure out. They were just manning up and just bulldozing Philadelphia. So I think that plays in Dallas's favor, regardless of who they go up against the rest of the year. Defensively, though, this is where they were really operating at a deficit in terms of the number of players that they were missing on the front line. And they made up for it, though, with two things. One, they know what they're doing this year, because Dan Quinn really, I don't want to say he has simplified it, but he has made it so where these guys are able to go out there and play very, very, very fast without a whole lot of confusion. It's not perfect, but they play fast without a lot of confusion. And secondly, what I said just initially just now, playing fast, these guys run to the rock, man. They chase the football and the ball carrier like a bunch of wild dogs out there, and he has got them going. When they get to 100%, look out for this defense. This defense really just needs to be middle of the pack or better for this team to really do some damage.